I don't know if they pulled the blood work, but I assume that his good cholesterol, his HDL, was absolutely decimated on this cycle. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at Russo Lifts. Just in case something happens to this YouTube channel, you can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is sponsored by 1907 Water, 1907water.com for the best water and to support this type of content. I'm running low on sips here. Down bad. Down real bad. Let's not forget about the ASMR Spritz. Intelligent Elephant Carbon, intelligentelephant.com. Coupon code Russo. Let's hear these Spritz noises. Oh. Oh. See a lot of reviews in the comment section of Carbon. I'm just leave you with the Spritz noises. You guys can't smell it, but if you use coupon code Russo, you could figure out what the smell actually is after hearing those noises, video after video. You might as well bite it and get it. Today, I'm going to be going into and reacting to James English's IFBB Pro winning cycle for his classic physique show victory. He went pro in one show. Big shout out to James English. That is a feat that very few people achieve, and I don't even think James knew he was going to go pro on his first show, and it's awesome to see him get the W and have all this time to prepare a pro physique for the big boys. I did want to go into, just something I really noticed with this cycle that I don't want other people to fall in this trap. And this goes against all my gyno content. So if you guys know, I've documented my gynecomastia when it started happening, what I did to get rid of it as far as ancillary drugs, which is what I'm going to comment on with James's cycle. And then I obviously did my gynecomastia surgery, why I chose to do my surgery. I've done tons of content around this, so this channel is shadow banned. So if you subscribe, like, and click the bell, you guys might get the videos. Even if you do all that, you will be randomly unsubscribe, so you have to hardcore search this channel. But I'm going to be bringing up more plates, more dates reaction to the cycle. I'm just going to make some comments on the cycle overall, but I'm not going to really be focusing on the actual compounds of the cycle because it's pretty standard. As far as the dosages go, the 150 trend, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I don't know if it was 150 trend. In my opinion, behind closed doors in the bathroom, I'm not saying it's dramatically higher. I just think it might be higher than 150, but the rest of the cycle, and as far as the total amount of gear used, I think Derek totaled it to like 1.2 grams a week. That's fine, for the physique he had, and it was absolutely exceptional conditioning. And I think what people don't realize about, because I watched all of James' vlogs, I got motivated because I'm about to do my first show, and seeing James, and in my opinion, James' team, shout out Kenneth, seeing Kenny put together the content and them executing such a flawless plan. It was exceptionally done, content wise, show wise, outcome wise. I don't really have anything derogatory other than the fact that for the average Joe competing, I personally think more gear is needed. I think James is a genetically gifted individual in a lot of ways of how his muscle bellies are shaped, how he holds fat, and overall how quickly he gets into shape. But I will just call, I don't know about that 150 trend. I feel like that's a bit higher, but overall at 1.2 total grams of gear a week to accomplish the physique at the stage weight he did to get his pro card, 100% believable in my mind. I don't think he needed 2 grams of gear. I don't think he needed anything really more, maybe like it was like 1.4 in my opinion, but that's just my 2 cents. I did want to comment, however, specifically on what he was doing as far as maintaining no bitch tits when he got on stage.
Equation is going to be the retaining of lean tissue by your base of test and a little bit of the trend for the actual recomp effect to some extent, but in addition to that, the actual dieting and the fucking cardio you're doing is what's going to. Now, some of the ancillaries that hopefully he will not have to use after gyno surgery. Aromacin every other day, 12.5 milligrams. He was using this because it's seemed to be less impactful on lipids than Arimidex, or he's using it every day, sorry. He was also using 0.125.
So he's using 12.5 mg every single day of Aromacin to stop gyno from forming. Absolute insanity. To put that in perspective, right? His good cholesterol, which I don't know if they pulled the blood work, but I assume that his good cholesterol, his HDL, was absolutely decimated on this cycle, because what I'm getting around is James has this pro level physique. Obviously, while he's going to get his pro card, in his mind, he's thinking about all the people watching him, and that even if he builds this exceptionally well-conditioned, winning, pro-level physique, and he gets his pro card, which he fucking did, if he didn't control his gyno, he knows all the comments online are going to be gyno. Oh my God, Andrew, gyno. Wow. He just won a show and beat fucking 30 other competitors, but he's got some gyno. So that's all James is like thinking in his head as he's literally building a pro level physique off of one local show. That being said, this type of setup as far as preventing gyno while you're adding in exogenous super physiological amounts of testosterone and other aromatizing compounds on top of prolactin based tren, it's like cascading each other in the sense that you're trying to prevent the gyno from forming while you're ramping up to 1.2, in my opinion, a little bit higher than 1.2 total grams of gear. You know, this is where it's like, if James didn't get the gyno surgery and continued doing these setups to prevent the gyno from forming, this would be absolutely horrendous for your heart. And I'm not saying James is stupid or James wasn't going to get the gyno surgery. I'm saying that there are competitors who do this same thing, who don't go pro in one show, who compete in multiple shows a year, who constantly blast AIs all year to stop gyno from forming. And that vicious cycle repeats for like 6-7 years where they don't go anywhere, where James is destined to go very far and they ruin their heart health. Thus, James is getting away with this one time, but since this is put on the forefront and used as an example, I'm going to call bullshit out on this. This is an insane amount of aromatase inhibitor usage that really warrants horrible health.
Of Caber every other day, and now this is kind of where he went a little bit nuclear, as well as using a raloxifene on top of that, 30 milligrams every day.
So 30 milligrams every day of raloxifene, 12.5 milligrams every day of exemestane, and Caber on top, which is bad for the heart, but not really in a high dosage that James is using. So right there, that is an insane amount of ancillaries just to prevent little tiny gyno from forming, because like I said, even if James gets the fucking card, which he did, he gets the pro level physique in one show, which he did, and shut all his haters up. If that gyno popped up, that would be all the comments in James's mind. So he prevented it, but at what cost? And if he kept doing this setup, which obviously he's not, he's got Derek very smart in his ear, he's got his coach Kyle in his ear, very smart, and James was just going into the show just wanting to compete, right? He had no idea that he was going to get his card in one show. James delivered an exceptionally well-conditioned physique, but when I hear this insane ancillary protocol that was happening the entire time, I know in the back of my head that after James gets this gyno surgery, his look will be 10 times better than the physique that turned him pro. I guarantee it. This is an insane amount of ancillary usage just to prevent gyno on stage.
Now for him, this is a lot to do with being extremely cautious about his gyno. He really didn't want to have the GH, the trend, the test, like anything contributing in any capacity. I don't necessarily condone it, but I understand why he did it out of caution. And frankly, I am glad that, I'm very, very happy to see that he's in a position where he doesn't have to deploy the shit to the extent he did in the future. Because some of the stuff, was riding all the way into the show, and it's stuff that you don't necessarily want to be on perpetually, of course.
Yeah, you don't want to be on this perpetually, as Derek said, but you don't want to be making this like the norm that you need to do these insane ancillary setups, because not everyone goes and gets their card in one show. people compete in multiple shows 2, 3, 4 times a year, if they're seeing that this is the setup that James got the card with, and that's not pointed out, that that's so bad on your heart, that's so bad on your brain health, just so bad on your mood, libido in general. Imagine that going on year after year after year after year of a competitor that doesn't have the gifts James has, but still has the drive that James has, and is constantly in a hamster spinning his wheels on stage, yet still doesn't want gyno, doesn't have the money for surgery. This ends up with horrible heart damage, horrible cholesterol skew, and exacerbates all the issues of high androgens in the body.
The no thyroid medications. In addition, near the end, he was also using caffeine, you know, a pretty obvious thing. Clen did taper up to 60. I'm kind of going in chronological order, so I understand this is a little bit. It is often thought like, oh, you need your winstrol for this. Oh, you need to try and achieve a drier look. So that was actually, at 1 week out, it was swapping Anavar to winstrol. My mistake, he didn't keep the Anavar in. So anyways, everything was pretty low objectively for like an IFBB quality physique. Overall, at the end of the cycle, like the most peak exposure for an anabolics perspective, you're looking at about 500 tests, 150 trend, 150 mast, 10 halo, 50 winstrol. If we have 50 winstrol times 7, we're at 350 plus 70 halo plus 150 trend plus 150 mast plus 500 tests. Like, you're looking at about 1.2 grams of gear per.
So yeah, when Derek totals it up 1.2 grams, the only thing I really don't believe is the actual trend dosage. So I've taken 400 Tren E to 600 Tren E experimenting, and I've gone all the way up to 400 ACE a week. I don't think it's a dramatic amount of Tren, but I feel like it was 250 maybe 100 mgs more, which puts him a little bit higher. Other than that, I completely believe the cycle. He used a bit of clenbuterol, which is fine when you're in contest prep, as long as he was monitoring his blood pressure. Like I said, the only issue I really have with this cycle, and it literally, when James gets his gyno surgery and does another prep, he will look 10 times better, not blasting ancillaries like crazy to prevent gyno. This goes into my rant of why I got the surgery before I competed, because I did not want to do what James did. I have shrunk my gyno with drugs before. I have completely reduced my gynecomastia when I was younger, around 21, 20 years old, with raloxifene alone. I reduced them to tiny sizes. It will always grow back. You need to cut the glands out. I got the gynecomastia surgery before I competed, suffer through that recovery. I cruised on 125 tests. I got fat at 250 pounds, got the surgery, dealt with all the backlash, because when I prep, I know I don't have to copy what James did, and I don't even blame James. I completely relate to why James did that, but it's not a good example. And I'm glad that it's being pointed out that James's next physique, after he gets the gyno surgery and doesn't add 12.5 mgs every day of exemestane, 30 milligrams a day, every day of raloxifene on top of Caber, he will look better. 100%. He left growing into the show, the growing into the show gains on the table by going buck wild with the ancillaries, all to prevent the gyno. So all the losers who don't do anything in life and fucking idle through life like vegetables, who are sucked to James and want to pull him down, just call him out on his little gyno. And he didn't want that to happen. He wanted his triumph and victory to be authentic and not be micro pointed out over some stupid gyno, considering he beat all these competitors in his first ever show. And if you actually watch the show footage, he outposes pretty much everyone on stage. I've been doing posing with Andrew, and he sees how tired I get. James posed like a boss. If you watch the show, the other guys are like they're faded, and James is still holding his poses to a T. He did everything right, everything picture perfect right. If he fucking dropped the ancillaries, went with a healthier way to do that prep, had a better physique but had some gynos showing, then everything would just be pointed at his gyno and not his victory. But at the end of the day, we can't have people copying these insane ancillary setups, and we need to bring light that if you're going to go on gear for a long period of time, gynecomastia will most likely happen no matter what you do. Ancillaries at that high enough amount are poison. I've made videos of Andrew throw it up. So get the gyno surgery, save up. I have the full price of my gyno surgery right here. I'll have Andrew link the video. I already did all the shadow ban content on it. I'll see you guys in my next video.